Welcome back to Queensland, Australia, the 2022 Australian Disc Golf Championships. I'm Grant Zellner along with Jennifer Allen as we bring you round 2 coverage of the FPO division here in this championship.
Yeah, on the beautiful east coast of Australia. We're probably about 30 minutes from the beach right here, right down the road from beautiful zoo.
Oh, did you get to check the zoo out?
Steve Irwin Zoo. It was incredible.
Wow. That's way cool. Same leaderboard as we had on day number 1. Same card, that is. Here is your full leaderboard. Cassie Sweetten opening up a narrow lead over Jennifer. Sarah Lee in the hunt.
Yeah, a lot of Innova disc right here. We have Cassie Sweetten, who's also an Innova player. Both of us putting with the Yeti Pros. She throws her Lion a lot, the turn.
Here's a look at your bag.
Not a ton of really long distance shots here. First front 9 is pretty short, so a lot of mids being thrown.
Here's Sarah Lee's bag. Sarah Lee, kind of an up-and-coming player in the Australian disc golf scene. Mixed bag. A couple of RPM discs in there. And Hussey's bag, also sort of similar in some ways to Sarah Lee's. Mixed, a few RPM discs, a little bit of Latitude 64 and others in there. And we're at hole number 1.
Yeah, straight downhill, 230 feet. Be careful not to go too long.
In round 1, representing Innova, Throw Pink, and Disconnection, Cassie Sweetten.
Cassie Sweetten with the honors. I could listen to the Australian accent all day long.
Cassie going forehand off the tee here, trying to play that left side, hyzering back in toward the basket. She did not like that out of the hand at all. You have to be careful not to get a lot of speed on the disc. There is a little OB pond puddle back there, and it doesn't take a lot to get it to glide down this hill. I'm going Yeti, trying to go right at it. Again, just barely even stand still throwing that. It gets down there quick.
Representing Hahlbeck and throwing a 64 in the first round, Sarah Lee.
Sarah opting for the forehand as well.
Sounds like the wind up just a little bit here on day 2.
Yeah, and look at the beautiful arrangements. They're kind of fading just a little bit, but there was a local player or a sponsor who donated the arrangements.
Representing Parkland's Disc Golf, throwing a 66 in the first round, Clare Hussey.
Clare Hussey likes to go by Huss or Hussey.
Going with the putter as well, a little stable, but skips nice and close, about 16 feet or so from the basket. Cassie
Awkward.
trying to do a soft little turnover. Yeah, it's really hard not to get a lot of speed on the disc like that.
Yeah, just an awkward stance and really steep down to the basket.
Yeah. Swallowing it, just going to go ahead and take that bogey, not trying to run at the long downhill putt. It's a 1-stroke improvement for me from day 1, so I'm okay with it.
Yep, plus you'll pick that stroke up on the leader, Cassie Sweetten. Meanwhile, Sarah Lee in for the opening birdie here in round number 2. Ooh, squeaks that one in.
Yeah, gets it to stay right over the edge there. Good couple of birdie putts on hole 1. Those pine cones were huge. And they don't even really, like, you don't think there's that many pine trees around, really, you know. This ground is full of them.
Hole number 2.
Very tight off the tee, trying to get it to sneak between those trees right there. Downhill, elevation back uphill. Lots of elevation changes over here in Lonsboro. No OB really, I don't think at all on this hole. You can sneak long pretty quickly if you get a clean drive off the tee.
Just like yesterday.
Yeah, taking that nice little soft turnover, slides right up there just outside circle 1.
Well, Jennifer, that's 6 throws in a row we've seen that have made it all the way through.
Don't be jinxing us. Let me get off the tee first. All right, I made it right there. Again, slides just a little long, but kept my straight line right at the basket better today.
Oh.
Yeah, that area down there is not out of bounds, and it's actually not too bad of an open look back up.
Through the awning there.
I did not see that she actually threw through that.
Yeah.
I thought she threw around.
Wow.
Wow. That was awesome. Hussey just laying that up. Going to take her threes. Again, threes are okay for us out here. A lot of these holes, we're not going to try to be too aggressive, even though several shorter holes on the front 9. Sarah trying to give that a little extra push on that big uphill putt to save par from Cassie. Good bid, and it stays. That's the big part.
All right, to card your first birdie 10 holes earlier in your round than you did yesterday.
You're good with these numbers. You keep track. No pressure. I'm glad I didn't know that before I putted. Much better start than
there we go.
Sarah in for her par. Kingsley, our Australian photographer back there, always representing Australia well.
Indeed. Did a great job sending some footage, some still shots, that is, and some other things to us so we could put up an article.
Post-round interviews, I believe. This is hole number 3, 236 feet. You can take the hyzer route on the right or slightly more open shot on the left. Just being careful of the angle that your disc comes in there.
Mm-hmm. The length of the hole on this side hill sort of situation.
Yeah, the angle's just right. Perfect basket placement to really test our skills. You can see that wind was a little bit more today already.
Not too dissimilar from your tee shot on day number 1, maybe a little bit longer. Sarah Lee down the hill a little bit.
Yeah, even if you just focus on a nice straight shot across, you'll have a long look at birdie. So I think you just have to be careful trying to put too much angle on this tee shot.
Huss up there just below the hole. Circle 2 look, and now Cassie.
Beautiful line. And it just depends if you can get past that little clump of trees. It tends to really catch up that last little bit turning in.
Mm-hmm. Stress-free par. Now Huss.
one little branch in my way over there, about outside circle 1. Beautiful long birdie putt from Sarah.
Big putt and a big start for Sarah Lee. Run that back.
Yeah, that's outside circle 1. Big slope uphill. Such a beautiful putt.
I'll drop in for par for you. And we're already through our first 3 holes of round number 2.
When the shots fire, my soul ladies, yeah. If go down, I might cause a scene, yeah. Them scheme, them go to sleep, yeah. They don't wanna come war with me, yeah. Run, Ricky, run, run, Ricky, run. Run, Ricky, run, run, Ricky, run. Run, Ricky, run, run, Ricky, run.
On to the 4th.
Yeah, now we're going back downhill. There's a straight line right at the basket as well as a hyzer route. There's an OB fence right behind the basket to the right side, which leads us out the gate to hole number 5.
Just 253 feet.
Yeah, it's hard to get the right disc height on this hole. You have the tendency to release it clearly a little bit high because we're so far uphill, and those branches just will sneak in the way. I made it through every one of those branches.
Wow,
and
that just kept going.
found that OB fence that I did not know was there until right then.
It's been kind of a running theme for you, finding out of bounds that you didn't know was there.
Yeah, it's just like you don't see it. Like it just blends in so well.
You've talked about that.
There's
Super
no flags.
natural. Yeah, super
there's no
natural
flags
sort of.
up. And I never looked at the caddy book. Cassie goes with a hyzer route on this hole. Pretty safe shot. Gets her a pretty open look usually. Long look, but open.
All right, just sort of a soft downhill approach here. Needs that to dig.
Yeah, you have to really watch the angles and your release height on a lot of these approaches because the elevation changes. Usually there's a dip somewhere between the hole, you know, either we're lower going higher or vice versa. So it was really funny when I reached down to get my disc. You can see there's a pink disc as well.
Right.
My disc was on top of another lost disc.
Oh, weird.
So I found a disc over there. We were trying to figure out whose disc it was. I don't know if that's ever happened.
That sounds like someone didn't try that hard to find their disc.
Well, it was a little buried, kind of. Beautiful putt to save par by Huss.
Sarah Lee with the bogey cools off that start just a little bit.
Cassie's shaking those nerves a little bit. A lot of pressure, you know.
And we're at the 5th.
Yeah, this is one of the flatter holes on the entire course, 322 feet. You can go straight at it or the hyzer around that little lone tree on the right side. No OB on this hole, just a lot of rough along the fairway. Hussey getting a little strong on it. She needs that to kick back to the open, and I think it just gets hung up there on the side.
Cassie needs this to stay out just a little bit. Doesn't. Kind of did that yesterday, I think.
She keeps it just a little bit, not quite as stable as the day before. That's something like you practice a shot that works, and, you know, every time you practice it, you get to the tournament and it doesn't work. And it's hard to change, you know, because you know you've had this shot. I kept that a little low because I'm trying to correct from going so far on day one.
That's right. You were long and left on day one. Now you're short and right. Here's Huss.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow. She's able to punch most of the way out.
This is a better lie than Cassie had on day one.
About the same result. Sarah goes for that little turnover on her long jump putts.
Step or two outside of the circle here. Maybe even a little further than that now that I see the disc in flight. Just a little short.
And we are all going to tap in some pars here. Oh, Huss has the bogey, I believe.
Yeah, I got hung up there off the tee, off to the right, so.
All tap ins, though.
The 6th.
420 feet, par 3. Again, the rolling hills here along the fairway. Small OB pond tucked off just to the right of the basket, and a pretty big slope if you go off to the left. So that angle of elevation change there is really going to pull your disc a little more stable down that left side. I believe that's Cassie's turn. And it's not holding the turn like I talked about, that stability of the elevation change there. But that's a great spot just to punch up to get the par.
This is a fun tee shot to watch. Just that soft, slow turning backhand.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite throws on the course. I loved really trying to get that nice big flex. Day one, I went long. I was really debating on changing disc there, as you can see. And I decided to stick with my Wraith because it has a beautiful turn right at the basket. Unfortunately,
wow,
it's just too much disc.
Kept going.
Yeah, a little bit too much disc for this hole, so hopefully I smarten up and disc down on day 3, hopefully.
That OB behind the basket to the right is really close to the basket.
It is, and it just sneaks up like everything else. Hussey plenty safe over there on the left side, no OB over there. But unfortunately, she gets into the actual rough part of the hole.
We'll stand still way up the hill.
Yeah, almost a blind shot. She was so turned away.
Now Sarah Lee. It's a bold little run there with the OB behind the basket.
Steep little hole there.
Yeah, really. And probably the most wind that we've seen thus far in this championship, rustling through the trees.
Yeah, and right over that hill to my right is where that pond opens up on the, I think it's like hole 10 maybe.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So it is an open kind of breezeway right through there.
You're from the land.
Yeah,
you're from the land where the wind blows. You're good.
I was sad to lose my Wraith there. That one had been in the bag a very long
Oh,
time.
you lost it. It went all the way out where it couldn't be. Oh.
Yeah, and unfortunately, even though these look small, that one is very deep, very quickly. They did try to rescue it one more time for me, but They sacrificed all the way up to the neck and couldn't find it. So
Aw.
it is there in Australia for someone to find.
PDGA Event Support Helpline.
Hey, I was wondering if I could add some rules to my tournament to make it a little unique.
Sure. You just need a waiver from the Director of Event Support.
Okay, great. An island green?
Shouldn't be a problem.
And elevated baskets?
Yeah, we get those all the time.
Oh, and forehands only?
Sarah, we've been over this.
Sorry. I mean, but I don't see why we can't try it. I mean, everyone loves forehands. Like, you can go right, you can go left, you can throw straight, you can throw high, you can throw low.
On to the 7th.
Yeah, this is that very difficult first dog leg that we have. You want to punch through the trees right here. Then the basket is just tucked, I would say maybe like 70 feet or so past that corner. So you can risk taking that very small hyzer line up on the left side, or just playing it safe, trying to get through right there. And unfortunately, Cassie was so close to being perfect, and that takes kind of an ugly kick, and unfortunately it ends up rolling just a little bit as well.
Sarah Lee also looking up that right side, gets a favorable little deflection there. You went more to the inside yesterday, same thing today.
Yeah, I'm going star max, trying to just punch through that small opening and kind of cut over to the basket a little bit more.
Good angle on that one.
Yeah, she gets a nice, clean, executed shot.
So now we're down in the bottom with Cassie. Nothing to do there.
Yeah, just punching out, trying to get back to the open and save her bogey. Depth perception off a little bit on that
Wow.
one. I don't think she she definitely did not mean to throw that hard.
Oh.
I don't know if the wind or something made her kind of really give that one a little bit of extra oomph, but she definitely did not mean to go that hard.
And then Huss off the side of the basket. That would have been a long birdie throw in. Now you a little closer. This for birdie. Up and around.
And I will say Cassie and I did not plan that. Our matching outfits that were opposite.
Oh.
I think that's the first time we stood next to each other. We walked out and we were like, oh my gosh, we match. Beautiful. Bogey save. That was still a really good putt. A little bit of a tailwind still out there, so we'll see how that affects us on the next hole. That's when it really opens up to the water.
Sarah Lee, that's a bogey save. Huss with the par here at the 7th, and we're on to the 8th.
Yeah, this is where we are teeing actually from an OB area. We have OB along that right side tree line. You're going to cut hard to your right to an kind of island peninsula here that is surrounded by out of bounds as well. And this is I'm trying to go back as far as possible because in my mind, for some reason, I think I'm going to fall off a cliff. I don't fall off the cliff, but I do get hung up in that tree again.
Same one.
Yeah. And this one, it kicks me out of bounds there on that right side.
This is the first par 4 of the round.
It was really funny when Drew and I played doubles, we actually used my drive on this hole. Like I had been throwing this hole so clean, so it was really frustrating and in my head to get off the tee clean on this. Because that's all you need to do. Nice, clean, straight shot through that opening gap. Hyzer it off to the open on the left side. There's so much room down there.
Go, yeah!
Cassie gets quite a bit of turn on it. It could have held just a little longer for her, but she's going to be out there in the open.
Everybody cheering that one on. Now, Sarah Lee.
Beautiful.
That's got great height. And gets it right out to that safe zone.
That'll do. So playing first after taking relief.
Yeah, and I'm just double checking my card realizes where the basket is, which they know. But just to clarify, it's always nice to just double check so no one questions you on a throw. I'm trying to get that Mako to make a nice cut around the corner. But you have to just make sure you don't line your mini and foot off of the fairway. It has to be off the basket, so that'll get you on a dog leg sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah getting great action on that upshot. She's going to be there for the birdie putt.
Cassie also the forehand, a little too high though.
Hussey makes the correction and slides up there next to Sarah. And the wind just really didn't let it turn, but it is nice and safe.
So this is your 4th here at the par 4.
Yeah, and I try to keep this nice and low and get some good ground play there. You don't see the flag blowing as much, but it just really kind of feels so open out there. So trying to keep the disc low so we don't get any wind underneath it and get a big skip on this dry putting surface. Flag keeping her nice and close.
I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Just a little high. She's fully committed though, so that you're kind of okay when they come off like that. Makes the comeback.
So Cassie with the bogey here at the 8th. This is your tap in. Also for bogey.
You can see a little bit of that lake back there. It's actually a pretty big lake.
It's pretty country to be sure. Sarah Lee, nice little par there, and for the moment we're tied at the top.
Yeah, we're going over this little OB pond there. There's also another small OB pond there on the left side, which you really can't see. Over this fence, and the basket is placed on the ridge here. I mentioned yesterday that this hole played a little bit longer to us, whether that be where the basket is placed a little more elevation than the tee or the wind that kind of comes across this area. But our disc seemed to kind of push down a little faster. So I think all of us are trying to like learn that and make the correction here. And we're trying to either disc up or get some more height underneath our throws. This one just does not hyzer back quick enough for Sarah. I think she does drop safe though. There's a little small OB area over there as well. So I go same disc as round 1, but just put a lot more height on it. End up just a little
look
long,
at the
kind
roll.
of. Yeah, a little bit of a roll away. It's still not horrible.
Probably couldn't see that from the tee.
Definitely could not.
But it just 15 or 20 feet.
Cassie had a beautiful drive day one, trying to do the same thing here. Almost exact same spot, maybe just a hair longer. So this is where Sarah's drive ended up. It is not out of bounds, but close to it down there. But she gets a excellent upshot. Cassie with another strong bid. Trying to get a few strokes back. I am opting for the layup.
Us, also the layup.
You can see the wind picking up again. It kind of just came and went on each hole. It was hard to read sometimes because it was gusty.
And everybody taps in their pars here at the 9th. No birdies on the card since way back at the 3rd, where Sarah Lee birdied the 3rd. But scoring opportunities coming on the back 9. There's several par 4s and a par 5. So we expect to see a few more fireworks coming up in the second half of this second round. Give you a quick look there at the overall leaderboard.
Yeah, Sarah and I tied up at the top and Cassie just a few back.
Continuing coverage coming your way of the 2022 Australian Disc Golf Championships. Make sure to keep an eye on Gatekeeper Media and the PDGA right here on YouTube.